5 years from now, if I just checked out and came back in and took a look, what does Monoquant look like if everything goes according to plan?
We are the go-to financial system. We are soup to nuts, what you use for trading. Short of being a quant fund yourself, you can gain value in this, whether you're a retail trader or a family office, a prosumer, hedge funds, depending on, who you have there. But, you can go cross asset class soon enough. You can build an algorithm for anything. You know, treasury management, portfolio rebalancing. If you want to have alpha generation, you can build several models within one strategy. This part's for flash crashes. This is for trending. And this is for that random times when it starts to go up, like, Ethereum jumped 50% in a week. I have a strategy that would have been in that and would not have exited it until it had a certain amount of indications turning it out. We don't have you don't have to have a take profit or an exit anymore. You can just have exit logic. So until the market turns down, you could ride a 50-60% trade, which, as you've seen with Ethereum, crazy, but true.
Yeah, it is crazy. And you can only do that with these really specialized models. And the days of the stop loss order, hopefully, are behind us, because it's just such a caveman approach to trading.
I mean, how can you have a stop loss with a market that, in the traditional markets, we used to know that, the range is 20 handles. You have to factor a stop loss for 5-6 handles. A handle is 1 point for non-traders.
It's like a percentage a lot of times.
Yeah. So you knew this was your range, and you knew this. It never left this range but 1 or 2 days a year, and you were usually okay. With crypto, the range, you don't really know it, and the range can change by the day. So yes, you can have stop losses, but being able to define exit logic the way you define entry logic gives you a big opportunity to really, you can truly define it. Do you want to have a certain amount of candles? I have strategies myself where it's 5 green candles is an exit, and people be like, why would you sell it? There's 5 green candles. I was like, because the market's overbought. You know this. And I can have, don't sell without a MACD turning down. Well, again, that's an obvious one. And if you're ever looking at a chart, the MACD tends to turn down before the price drops. So usually you're the first one out. Yes, can the market actually go up still once the MACD is turned down? Of course. But I don't want to be that guy. I just want the meat and potatoes. Yeah, that's another old school term.
Yeah. You texted me the other day, a couple months ago, and you were like, Brian, it's so obvious to me when I look at this market. It's almost like you're Neo in the Matrix. You can see it right in front of you, just obvious things happening, where most people, all they see is the Matrix, because they don't have all of these signals and details that you've picked out. They just see the charts that are presented to them on the exchanges, and they see the indicators to get them to do this and that. But with your models, you can see clear strategies to make money.
What the London Real Investment Club actually does for you, it gives you the keys to open that door to the inside deals. In the last 3 weeks, I've participated in 3 incredible deals: a layer 2 Bitcoin protocol, an incredible AI protocol. The deal flow is beyond what I expected. I don't think I've ever seen a model like this that just gives average folks the opportunity to be behind the deals, and that's exactly what we've done. Not only that, you get to hang out with Brian Rose every week. And for me, that was huge, because I look at Brian as somebody who's not only an expert in the space, and I think is on the leading edge, but just the leading edge of thought with London Real and the work he's doing there. To anyone who's taking a serious look at this, I know it's a big decision. It was a big decision for me and my family, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I wish you all the best, and hope you come join us.
Yeah, it's like everything in life. Everything's bigger than that. If you're just looking, if you're just looking at the charts on a exchange, you're a horse with blinders on. You're just seeing this. But what you have to realize is, besides the actual technical stuff, macros affect the entire trading, capital markets, whatever, a lot more across the board. Doesn't matter the asset class now. But crypto is, I'd argue, hypersensitive to all sorts of news, and all of this stuff is actionable. I mean, if you remember when Bybit had that wallet hack, okay, that could have been a great buying opportunity. So that would have been an outflow from Bybit, very obvious one. Hey, a good percentage of your book is outflowed. So like you could have that as your part of your flash crash, black swan event. I mean, or inflows with BlackRock. If BlackRock does ... inflows of Bitcoin, you buy. And you know what? Probably will rally the market. BlackRock's pretty respectable, old school. I don't think too many people can argue they're not pretty smart.
Yeah. What amazing to have those indicators. Because I remember that Bybit thing, and you could have been tracking that on chain.
You could have tracked all this stuff.
Yeah, because I think it was even published with news before they said anything. Because people saw that it happened to them before they even announced that it happened to them.
This was known.
Yeah.
Because all of these data providers we have, they're some of the best in the world, and they track all of this stuff. And if you're watching their websites, right, or you have maybe their alerts set up, some of them offer alerts, you will see this. And it's phenomenal. I'd argue some of the best data in the world. However, it's not actionable. That's the issue. So by having it as a node on our platform, rather than seeing this happen on the website, how that thing about having multiple screens, so you don't have to be looking at the screen, see this happened here, kind of like the Squawk Box used to be. You'd see this news announcements across the screen, be like, oh, this happened here, okay, let me react. It's like, by the time you're seeing it here, that your system has reacted.
Yeah.
I forget the insane timing. Dylan, if he was here, could give it to you, but basically, in the time that you can blink your eye, faster than you can click a button, the system will have ingested all of that data, made a decision, executed the trade with the exchange, and given you back information that it's been done. So like, you just can't compete with that. Because for us, we'd have to blink our eye, look, click.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.